This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This from my city, yeah, this from my team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of YSN Live right here on your sports network. DJ Yokley, Anthony Twiggy Hartwig riding shotgun with us today. And you had a nice little night last night. Little softball.
Yeah.
Little cold outside.
A little bit. The Storm Tracker 21 kept me warm, telling me what the forecast was going to be. I was able to dress accordingly perfectly because those guys always know exactly what's going on with the weather.
Don't tell me that the ladies are not tough as nails, because they're out there dancing and playing on the ball field, and it is chilly. The jackets were, I saw some varsity jackets from Gary Lineker's photos. So it was a little chilly outside, but we played ball nonetheless. You're not going to stop us from playing stickball here in Northeast Ohio, even though it's a little cold outside. Not going to happen.
For the first time in a long time, you can go over to ysnlive.com/scores and check out the scoreboard brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. And it is a full board of games, and we haven't had that since really the meat of the tournament of basketball. So it was nice to see that scoreboard on the website alive and well again, brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs.
Did you want to go over some scores before we get started?
Let's do it. Let's go over some scores in softball last night. There were some really close games that ended dramatically. Columbiana against Minerva got a walk-off home run from Caitlin Pleska. No shocker there that she's able to start the season with a home run on her schedule, because she was one of the top home run getters last year in the YSN network. So she has one game, one home run on her slate. We saw Middle Ridge and LeBray. I was able to do that game. Riley Rowe with 18 strikeouts inside the circle, along with the go-ahead RBI when the game was tied at 2 in the 6th. LeBray wins 4-2 over the Rams to open up the season. Louisville with a walk-off sacrifice bunt, kind of reminiscent of that Canfield State semifinal that we did up at Firestone Stadium. They beat Tuslaw in extras, 8 innings, 7-6. That's a big win for Louisville. We also had a lot of blowouts after that. You have Beaver Local. We have pictures of that on our Smug Mug if you're a fan of Beaver Local or East Palestine. Gary Lineker did a great job at going down there in the cold, and there was a little bit of snow down there in East Liverpool as well. 11-1 was the final score. Beavers got the win. Crestview was all over St. Thomas Aquinas, 22-0. The reigning champs, Fitch, opened the season with a win over Magnificat, 22-1. Beaver, Planet Meters, they beat Mars, 16-1. Earth is better than Mars and always will be.
Easy, pal. Elon's listening.
Mars got nothing on us. You're the third planet from the sun, beautifully created by God. 5-4, Newton Falls gets the win over. 5-4, Newton Falls gets the win over Waterloo as well. And then we saw Hoban get the 8-0 win over Maslin Perry. Some of the other games got moved off of yesterday's schedule. South Range and Lakeview are going to be playing Wednesday now instead of last night. And they'll play tonight in Lakeview, tomorrow at South Range. Mooney also got beat by Berkshire 17-2. And Camel got the win over Lordstown 12-2. So those are the scores from last night. Check out the scoreboard. ysnlive.com/scores.
Hey, softball's back. Softball's back. Baseball's back. Well, baseball's almost back. Almost back.
Baseball's back in PA, but it'll be back for everyone here in Ohio on Friday.
I saw Mohawk got pounded, which we're not used to seeing here on the network. Usually Nicky Mariano and his crew typically hold their own. Eric Hughes had the call last night for that. 14-0, right?
Let's check the scoreboard. It was 14-0. No, 14-8 Mohawk.
14-8. I'm sorry. 14-8.
Beaver got the win over Hopewell though, 2-1.
Yeah, we got to show those boys some love too. And Anthony Tiberius Hartwig.
Everyone is Tiberius, man. We can't all be Tiberius.
Why not?
I don't know.
They do it in China.
I
George
don't think
Foreman.
Tiberius is an Asian name either.
George Foreman, God rest his soul, named all his kids George. So they're all George Foreman. So everybody can be Tiberius. Just like James Tiberius Kirk. That's legit. That's real.
That's real.
Anthony Tiberius Hartwig. What is your middle name?
Ronald is my middle name.
Anthony Ronald Hartwig.
Named after my uncle Ron, which was actually not like it's one of those uncles that's like big friends of the family uncles.
Oh, I'm big on that. I was hoping it was after someone you knew and not the guy from McDonald's.
No, it was not named after Ronald McDonald.
I was worried for a moment there.
But I got a lot of those jokes as a kid. Don't worry about that.
Did you?
Look at you, Ronald. What a clown.
Really? That's
So,
not nice.
Yeah.
Goodness
All right.
gracious.
You know.
We got what do we have on the schedule tonight? Do you have a? It's not updated yet on our site. What?
Here's what we got tonight. We'll go to our spreadsheet, and it is going to be Tuesday, March 25th. We have some softball, of course. Ty Bartell will be right now. He's scheduled to be in Canfield, but he might be moving to Boardman because he was scheduled to be there tomorrow. They moved that game back against Louisville, so that's up in the air right now. I will be in Lakeview for their matchup with South Range to open up the season. Those two teams tied up in the NE8 last year, so they're trying to get some bragging rights right off the jump and get a foothold in the conference. Struthers at Girard will also be on the network. Eric Hughes going to be on the call for that softball matchup as well. So we have 3 softball games, 1 baseball game on the network, and it's YSU at Bowling Green. Tim Corso will be there. We also have boys lacrosse on the network. The school will be covering Poland versus Southeast at 6:30.
Keep in mind for that YSU Bowling Green matchup, not only do we have great local talent on Youngstown State, but also Logan Bell, the pitcher from, and quarterback for that matter, from Lisbon a few years ago, is on Bowling Green. So tune in. Timmy Corso is going to have it. Keith Corso, I believe, as well, going to be on the call. So still ramping up into spring. I might take a peek and see what games are out there. See if there's anything local to your dude, and we'll see if it goes. I'm not honestly full disclosure. I am not into spring sports yet. Like my mind, not into spring sports yet. Like we're still closing that book. I know it's a big book in the winter sports. It's a big book. It's heavy. You need both biceps and slam that baby shut. That's why we're at athletics. I can work out every day, which I don't.
Which I don't.
We have a great show for you. We have Boom Boom Mancini. I just got done with an interview with him because he's a busy guy, crazy busy guy that's always on the move. And then a little later, we'll have Eddie Reese from a week ago. We did that interview with him right before the Carlos Baerga thing. I was actually in the truck. So
yeah, in the truck.
Interested to see how that turned out from that standpoint, but I know everybody wants to hear from the head coach of the Cardinal Mooney Baseball Cardinals. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we turn it over to the former WBA lightweight champion of the world in an interview I think is really good. If you like Boom Boom Mancini, if you've never heard of Boom Boom Mancini, it's a good way to understand who he is, why he's so important to the Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have quite the interview coming up. A legend in our Valley in so many different ways. He's the former WBA lightweight champion of the world. He is in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He's been a staple of our community, our region, and certainly the sport of boxing for so long. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the guys I've always wanted to interview, had a chance to meet him on Saturday night. One of my heroes. Ray Boom Boom Mancini. How are you, my friend?
Good, DJ. Thank you. It's very kind. It's a very nice interview. Intro. And that's one of the best intros I've ever had. So I appreciate
it. Well, you're one of the best to ever do it, Ray.
Thank you.
First off, thank you so much for being with us on Saturday night. I know the entire place was jamming because you were there. You were in attendance for the slam dunk contest. What was your experience like on Saturday night around all those basketball players?
First and foremost, I'm gonna tell you, I appreciate you inviting me for that. I haven't done anything like that forever, and I think it's important to involved with the community. But stuff like that is a wonderful event, and meet some of these young kids and future stars, because you can see a lot of talent out there that night, and especially in the 3-point contest and stuff. And so I was very excited to be part of it. I only felt bad because I double booked. I had something I had forgotten that I had booked a while ago, and then the guy got reminded of it after I committed to you. So thank you for appreciating get me in and get me out. But the event was a hell of an event. What you do, it's a wonderful for the kids. It's wonderful for the community. I enjoyed that tremendously. And like I said, you see a lot of talent, a lot of creativity. You see the kids doing stuff with the slam dunks. But when I see stuff like that, it's that people say, oh, it's a great, I see the creativity for future things outside of sports, for creativity for business, creativity for for a career in something. And that's the best thing about sports. You see, because I would say people who have the discipline to train for their sport should have the discipline for their studies in school, for the classroom. And usually 90% of those who have the discipline for the sports have discipline for school. And then there's those guys who are just going to work, going to school or going to college just to play sports as a direction or as an opportunity for a pro career. That's that is a minute population, right? Minute specter. So I think that these kids, what they show the creativity in sports, especially in basketball and slam dunk contest, crosses over into life.
Well, I love hearing that. And obviously you've got a lot of background in going from sports to business and so many other things. What kind of advice would you give to the players and the athletes now, especially in this digital age, that they can pretty much take that competitive spirit and drive it into whatever they want?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like when I've done enough, I've done a couple of commencements, 3 commencements since I come back. Of course, none of them my own high school. I don't know. But I've done a few. And I've done some speaking engagements at high schools. And the one thing I tell them, the universal theme I say, take shots in life. Take shots. Don't live with regret. Take shots. I said, you got to take shots. I said, I've taken more shots. I said, I've missed more than I hit. But I said, but I'm like a 300 hitter in baseball. 3 out of 10 I've hit. But that's a Hall of Fame career in baseball, right? So you take shots in life. You're going to miss more than you hit. But, man, you don't want to live with regret because, whatever it is, whether business opportunity, opportunity for love, opportunity for your talent, take the shot. Go with it. Don't overthink it. Everyone's always, usually our natural instincts are, but the downside, because more people live with glasses half empty than they live with the glasses half full. I'm the guy who's the glass is half full guy. And like I said, I don't live with the regrets because I can say, well, I took the shot. It didn't work out, but I took the shot. I did my diligence. Maybe I could have did more diligence, studied up on it. Maybe or maybe not, but I took the shot and gave them my best. And I don't live with regrets. And this is why I live my life. And I think this is what people got to do. Or, again, you do your diligence. You study. You find out about whatever it is, business, opportunity, entertainment opportunity, sports opportunity. You do your business. You do your diligence. And then you make the best decision with the information you got, and you live with the result. You live with the result. And so most of the time, you're going to come out successful.
I love that. We both know that this region, this area, this valley is so incredibly special. And once they put you on their shoulders, they never forget about you. No. Why is this area, why is Youngstown, Ohio so special to you, Boom Boom?
Well, first of all, you have to understand, when I turned pro, we were only 2 years removed from the steel mill shutting down. I turned pro in 1979. And of course, you remember 1979, right? Of course.
Of course.
So we were 2 years removed from the stimulus shutting down. The town, we were knocked on our ass. It was hard. There was nothing happening. And I'm not saying it was just happened to be me at that time. It could have been anybody. It could have been, if it was Reverse Kelly at that time or one of the other fighters. But it just happened to be me. And the town needed something to hold on to. I was that guy. Plus, my style of fighting was very reminiscent of the city itself. Come forward, take our shots, keep moving forward, but you're going to take more shots than I take. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be standing with my hand raised. That was my attitude. That was the attitude of the city. And since that time, I like I said, we've never fully recovered from the stimulus shutting down. But little by little, we've progressed and we've evolved. And now the city is thriving. And, we are a think tank now. We have one of the largest think tanks in the country in downtown Youngstown. Our YSU is one of the best medical schools anywhere in the world. They come from all over the world to go to our medical school. They come, for our business school. So I think that we've now become a college town, which is wonderful. And business, like I said, is evolving. So a lot of these kids that were once had to leave to make a living or to pursue their dreams, stay home. And one of the reasons I came home now, I came back 10 years ago, was to create the film industry here. They've done movies here, and but what I'm saying, on a consistent basis, I'm talking making it a part of our culture now, to make it a business. Let Youngstown become a production destination for companies. And this is what I've, it's been 10 years, and people say, why haven't you done anything? I always thought, because it's called show business for a reason. Business comes long before the show. You got to take care of the business side of it. And that's what I've done. And one of the things I've done, I kind of went the back door. I have worldwide distribution in place for my projects. So when I make a project, it's going to be seen. A theatrical release, a streaming release, but it's going to be seen, and I can tell you where it's going to be seen. There's movies being made here, which is a wonderful thing for the local talent. But when you say, where's it going to be seen, they can't answer you. Yeah. Because the business of, entertainment business has kind of stagnated. When you make a movie and you try to go to the film festival, or you could try to make a movie, and now you got these other platforms, but they're second and third tier platforms, and it gets lost in the shuffle. I went down to the back door, so I could actually tell people, when I'm making a movie, with my project or TV series, here's what the project's going to be seen, and this is when you can watch it. And so this is what I've been doing over the last 10 years. I have a lifestyle company. Like I said, I've taken shots, and I enjoyed it. You got to enjoy the ride. It's all about the journey, man. And so I've enjoyed the ride. And so I have a lifestyle company. I have a bourbon company. I have a cigar company. I have a wine company, and I enjoy those things. Those are pleasures I enjoy in life. And and the entertainment business is my main facility, but also I'm able to make a living by traveling and speaking, do signings and commentary for different promoters. So I'm very fortunate.
Oh, I mean, you're a champion businessman as well. Certainly, you've been doing very well for yourself. And Mark Cuban said at one point that business is the ultimate sport. Do you feel like the same adrenaline rush that you had when you got into the ring?
Yeah, I do. When you have an opportunity, especially when I produce my, when you get everything comes together and you're able to raise the money and you get a studio or a distributor involved, a company saying, yes, we like what you're presenting to us, and they get the actors involved. And so with the first day on set, it's a euphoric feeling because you've done it. It's a creative process that you started from scratch. Germinated with an idea. And then from that idea, I did the page, and the page the script. And now you got the script, and then you send it to different actors and different people to get their affirmation on it. And then people say, yeah, I want to be involved. And then you got to raise them. It's a whole process. So I do enjoy that. I do enjoy the creative process. And for me, it's like, winning a fight, when you finally get on set, you won. You won, So yeah, it's a rush. A little different, but it's the same feeling of that rush of accomplishing something.
Yeah, that competition, that the spirit of sport and business, certainly, and you've been killing it, man. If there's championship belts, they'd be all like it is right now, right behind you. All those championship belts, you have businesses won all over the back of your walls as well. One of the things that we wanted to help you promote was this night with Gianni Russo, rather.
Gianni Russo, yes.
Yeah,
Carlo
talk to me about
from
that.
The Godfather. Everybody remembers The Godfather. Carlo. We know it was you, Carlo. We know it was you. You have to answer for Santino. And one of the greatest scenes, I met Gianni Russo in 1982 back in Las Vegas when he had a restaurant, nightclub called State Street. And a friend of mine from Youngstown was a waiter there. And I went to see him, and he introduced me to Gianni. And we've stayed friends for, 40-something years now. And Gianni's, man, he's right out of Central Casting. You can't make him up. You cannot make Gianni Russo up. Believe me, the beautiful part about it, the stories. He's lived a full life from, and he'll talk about that. But what we have on Thursday isn't just talking heads. This isn't going to be me up there interviewing him. I'll introduce him. He has a whole show, but it's film clips. And he talks about it as he's going down his story of, growing up in New York with polio. He had polio as a child, and he was in the infirmary till he was 8, 10 years old. And then when he got out, talks about being a shoe shine boy, and on Fifth Avenue in front of the Sheraton Netherland Hotel, which was next to the Waldorf Astoria, and that's where he met Frank Costello.
Wow!
He used to shine his shoes, and after a while, when he became 15, 16. He became a runner, a gopher for Frank Costello to run different errands for him. And then when he became 18 and older, he was doing, flying across the country, delivering messages. Frank Costello is considered the prime minister of the underworld. By all accounts, he's the one. Luckily, Luciano created the commission, but Frank Costello created how the organized crime is now very infiltrated into everyday life, from the political scene to the law enforcement to the everyday businesses, and how he created a legitimized many businesses. The mob had and legitimized them into everyday life. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating story. Talks about when he met Marilyn Monroe when she was Norma Jean Baker. He was 16 years old and she was in her 20s, and he started dating her. Now, why not? I did older girls when I was 16, 17. So,
attaboy, boom, boom.
It's wonderful stories. And then he talks about Frank Sinatra being his singing coach. Not his actual singing, but he watched him and he learned to sing from watching Frank Sinatra. Now, Marlon Brando was his acting coach on the set of The Godfather. How he got that role on The Godfather, that's the story in itself. And then through the years, so again, stories from the underworld, the entertainment world, to the music world, and then 1988, a very significant event happened at his restaurant that put his life in danger, and he had a confrontation with a gentleman who was hassling some people and causing a ruckus in his restaurant. The guy broke a bottle, sliced the woman, sliced Gianni. And Johnny was carrying a piece, pulled out the gun, shot the guy, killed the guy, and found out the guy was one of the top earners, one of the top henchmen in Pablo Escobar's cartel.
Oh, wow.
So Johnny talks about how he went to John Gotti. He said, John, can you help me out? He said, no, we make too much money with this guy. You got to go down there. You got to go meet with him on your own. And Johnny said he got a one-way ticket because he said, I don't know if I was coming back.
Yeah.
And he tells that story of meeting Pablo Escobar and what come of it. And it's unbelievable. And these are all true stories. That's true stories.
Wow.
These are true. And Johnny is one of the best storytellers there is. So anyhow, I'm telling you, it's a wonderful night. It's not like anything you've seen in the set. It's an interactive story. It's not talking heads, two guys just being one guy interviewing another. I'll introduce them, tell them how we met, and then Johnny, with Johnny, you push play and you let it record until you push off, because he's a dynamic speaker, a dynamic personality, and dynamic entertainer. People will be entertained and they will be filled with knowledge. And we have price tickets are very reasonable: $45 upper tier, $35 lower tier. There's still some VIP tickets for $100. For $100, it's a meet and greet with Johnny, photo opportunities, food, drinks, and you get a copy of his book, Hollywood Godfather. And believe me, the book in itself is one of the best reads you'll ever have. So believe me, it's a night. It's different. It's we want to be outside the box. I started a speaker series last year. I had Michael Francis come. Now we have Johnny, and we want people that are outside the box. We want people that come that you're really never going to get the opportunity to see, a lot of. So this is I hope it's a once in a lifetime for many people to see Johnny Russo here in Youngstown.
It'd be awesome. It's at Dior. Tickets still available, like you said. Doors open at 6:30. Event starts at 7:30. And I thought the coolest thing about it, Boom Boom, was the fact that it all benefits your foundation. Can you give us a little bit about your foundation?
Yeah, I started my foundation, 5-6 years ago, and we started doing things outside the box. I started my foundation because I had done a lot of appearances for other foundations, and I see what they do, and what a wonderful thing it is to do for people, for the underprivileged, for those with medical needs and things like that. So I always said I wanted to start one, and when I came back to Youngstown, I said, now's the time. And when people say, what was your mission statement? I said, I want to help those who can't help themselves. Well, they said, well, that's a little too broad. I said, well, we want to help the military, we want to help the first responders, and we want to help the elderly and the children. So we do things for different. So we pick a sector, then we pick an organization within that sector, and we give them money to that. So this one will benefit my foundation. And the good thing about a foundation, we can give to different parts. Parts that will go, again, for the military, for the first responders, elderly, and children. We have different organizations that we're involved in, and they each get a piece of the pie. So I'm very proud of that.
You should be. You should be very proud of that. And we thank you so much for, again, stopping out on Saturday.
It was wonderful. You did a wonderful job. I apologize for leaving so early. But DJ, if you don't mind me saying, can I give the people, if you're interested in the night with Johnny Russo, again, tickets still available, very reasonable. Upper tier is $45, lower tier is $35, and then VIP is $100. But that includes food and the book and meet and greet and all that. But if you're interested, go to Dior, DEYOR, PAC, PAC.org. DiorPac.org, or just call down to the Dior box office and get your tickets.
That's awesome. Once again, Johnny Russo, The Godfather Experience, this Thursday. Get your tickets now. DiorPac, as in performingartscenter.org. Ray, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for everything you've done. You're a legend, and we wish you the best.
My own mind, but thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. So there it is, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Man, he's full of energy, right? I think you have to be when it comes to that stuff. What an incredible story he is, if you don't know. Because that's kind of one of the things that I learned on Saturday is there's a lot of people that don't know Ray's story and don't know and understand Boom Boom. And man, what a story it is if you don't know it already.
Coming back from something that had to be extremely mentally taxing on him as a boxer, and being able to come back to a little bit of normalcy from that. I mean, there's probably a lot of people that they'd go through that, they wouldn't get back to normalcy. They wouldn't be able to get back to mental normalcy. But
no, and I think
was able to do what we do in Grit City, bounce back. You know?
The biggest thing about our area is there's an appreciation for boxing like no other. And, you know, I remember where I was. It was funny because he said, "You remember 1979?" I was -6, pal.
-6.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye yet. But you know, Kelly is like my generation of
Right.
what Boom Boom was to so many, like my dad's generation. And you know, it's funny to see that because there was a lot of people that know Boom Boom because of what he's done in the business world and like kind of like that second career, that second life, if you will, after boxing. And I've always asked because I feel that when the business that we have here at YSN, coincidentally enough, which is about sports, business to me is very much the sport. I mean, as being the planner, you know, you have to have strategy, you have to have film sessions. You know, you got to know what you did yesterday, so that way you don't do it again tomorrow, or you do replicate it tomorrow. So much, and he's got his tentacles in so many different things. The wine business, the wellness business, you know, the cigar business, you know, now he's the Hollywood business. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. I didn't get to ask him because we had a allotted piece of time there that we could talk, but I wonder if he's got plans to do a biopic about himself or boxing in Youngstown. Cause we've seen like some of the 30 for 30s and some of these, you know, smaller documentaries, but to see Boom Boom's life, I mean, he's living that mob life from that standpoint. I mean, you can tell he's excited.
The interview got real quick because he was telling the story about Gianni and how, you know, he got in a bar fight with someone and then, you know, in self-defense shoots the guy and then, you know, he might be, you know, sent down to Pablo Escobar. And I was like, oh, geez, this has got real, man. We're talking true crime documentary live on YSN.
It got sideways real fast. And I'm sitting there in the back like this. And I guarantee, I mean, my aunt is texting me right now and she's like, I need a ticket to Dior for Thursday. Like, I want to be there.
A lot of people have, including me, have The Godfather high up on their movie list. So anyone that was involved in that film, if you're a fan of The Godfather in any way, Carlo, he did not have a fun role. He was constantly getting beat up and then brutally killed. But
I have to go back and watch it again. I think I've only seen The Godfather once or twice in my life.
It's so good. Just watch the first two and skip the third one.
Yeah, I'd rather
if you're
watch
a fan of mafia movies, it's not for everybody.
The problem is, I'm kind of like Boom Boom. When I start watching mafia movies, I kind of feel like I'm in the mafia. Like,
You sleep with the fishes, you know? Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Here's a guy. I don't know how to segue out of that.
Sleep with the
Here's a guy that won't be sleeping with the fishes. One of the best young coaches in the game of baseball right now. Cardinal Mooney, and I'll tell you what, they got some studs. They got some great young players. They got some great upperclassmen that we're gonna be able to feature this year. But you talk about some of the standouts that they have. Ben Otis, you know, and the Reese boys. You talk about Trent Littman. You talk about, I mean, Johnny Brenner doesn't sound like he's pitching this year, but I mean, they had stacks and stacks and stacks of players that were going to make differences. And I think still will make differences. I think they're going to open some eyes this year. Now, you and I talked about, they're going to have to learn on the go. They're going to have to learn as they build the castle, so to speak. But the head guy in the clubhouse talked to us last Tuesday, and we're going to pitch it to it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, from Cardinal Mooney, the head coach, Mr. Eddie Reese. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, YSN Live. I'm on location in the Toyota Tundra here for YSN. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we got a great Coach's Corner for you here today. A guy that I know, I love, a guy that has taken over the reins to the Cardinal Mooney baseball team, and he has never looked back. A guy that everybody respects, everybody appreciates. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in a guy who was so cool, so sweet, they had to name him after one of the world's best candies. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Reese. What's up, buddy?
Oh, thank you for that intro. Very
Nobody
nice
deserves
of
it. Nobody deserves it more than you do, pal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing well, man. Hey, baseball season right around the corner. I know one thing is last year it was a roller coaster. I followed you guys all year, obviously. What things did you guys incur in the offseason? What did you plan for in the offseason that's made you a better baseball team here in 2025?
I think what we learned last year and taken into this year is, it's we're gonna learn how to win games a little bit, and I think we learned it was pretty tough to win games, especially with the schedule we play. I know on paper we're a pretty young team coming into this year, but we're very experienced. I believe we have 11 or 12 letter winners returning. We lose two key guys that were up the middle for us, shortstop and center field, and Gabe Saunders and Matt Kay. But we got two eager guys waiting to take the reins. No, and we have I think we started 5 freshmen last year in any given game, and just we're maturing, we're growing, and we're excited for this year.
One of the benefits of having a year like last season is you see the glimpses there. You see that the pieces are there. They have the talent. They have the skill set to win games. Like you said, now you have to learn how to win consistently. What are some lessons that you're trying to teach them before the season starts to get that consistency into them?
I think we're trying to put our kids in more situational opportunities during practice, with 2 strikes on, with runners on third and less than 2 outs. We're not gonna. My favorite saying last year was "fly balls get caught" in high school baseball. People aren't going to drop the ball as long as we don't beat ourselves. We'll have a chance, and every run is crucial in high school baseball. With again the schedule we play, a lot of our opponents don't beat themselves, so we have to play good and beat them outright.
You mentioned last year starting 5 freshmen. Your underclassmen really they learned in a fast way. I mean, they were in the fire, and they learned varsity baseball very quickly. But that helps you moving forward. I think this is going to be the biggest jump for the Mooney Cardinals in quite some time. When you think about the underclassmen, from last year to this year, what do you think their strength is going to be? Is it the experience that they gained last year, and obviously growing into their bodies a little bit will probably help going into the sophomores and junior years?
Yeah, I get it. I guess the best way to put it is I can tell they're more comfortable at practices and with each other. It's going into a team where you haven't been a part of. When you come as a freshman, there's seniors on there that have been around for 3 or 4 years. It's tough. It's the camaraderie was a challenge. Every year it is to get team players to buy in, and with one year under our belt, I mean, from every grade, we're hanging out, we're doing things together, we're having fun. That's what it's about.
Coach, anytime you're talking about any Mooney athletics, you're going to talk about the schedule that you put together and how tough it is. Talk about the schedule this year, some of the teams that pop up that you're really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, locally, Ursuline, of course, play them twice, JFK twice, Fitch. We open up with Canfield. Boardman's back on the schedule, which is great. It's a great rivalry. We have a home and home with Akron-Hoban. We added Benedictine twice to the schedule this year. University school outside the area, and State Champ West Branch, they're back on our schedule. It's from top to bottom. It's a challenge, but we love the challenge.
This is the new look Mooney Cardinals. I think we're used to seeing the big boys, the power, but I think this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of speed on this team, and when you guys get on base, it is going to be trouble for opposing pitchers and catchers. Why do you think that this year is going to be all about the speed, Coach?
Yeah, you got to play with the cards you're dealt, and it's last year we had trouble getting on base, and hopefully that's not the same this year, and we get to be aggressive on the base pass, make people throw it around a little bit. Putting pressure on guys. Hopefully that's our MO this year.
Everyone loves offense, but I want to talk about the pitching. That's how wins come. What's the pitching situation look like at Mooney, and what are your expectations for the guys you put down there on the bump?
Well, unfortunately, this year, Johnny Brenner has an injury. He was our ace the last 2 years, so we're not sure how or when he'll be available. It might be later in the season, it might not be, but we do have a full bullpen, which is great. I think we're in a better spot still than other programs in the area. But yeah, losing Johnny, that's definitely going to hurt a little bit. I always say when Johnny's on the bump, we have a chance to win. But I think the other guys understand that we're not going to have them on the mound, and they realize that their opportunity's coming, and it's, there's a little competition for our 1 through 4. We got Ben Otis coming back. He'll throw a lot of innings for us this year as well. But yeah, it's even with the devastating news of Johnny not being on the bump, I think we're still in a okay situation, and excited. There's a lot of ways we can do the rotation this year.
We've alluded to a lot of these players from a standpoint of saying how good they're going to be, but who are going to be the key players in that lineup 1 through 9 for the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals this year?
I don't really want to single too many guys out, but we got a lot of returning guys. I mean, a senior catcher in Trent Littman, who you'll speak to soon. Trent's a guy that came in here not as a catcher. Basically saw an opportunity and worked at it every day. And now he'll be the starting catcher for us this year again. But yeah, it's from top to bottom. We got guys that we can move around defensively, move the order up and move it around. But yeah, I think like I said, we're on paper, we're young, but I think we're experienced and we have some skill.
We talked about the roster. Let's also talk about the staff behind you and the people that help build this program up. Who are some people that are just crucial when it comes to the staff and when it comes to the administration to making this baseball program what it is?
Yeah, Spencer Olish is back on staff. Tim Calhoun, Carl Congemi. We added Vince Tatey and Bill McCartney this year. Brock McGivern also helps out a bunch for us. So yeah, we have guys that know the game, that are around it a lot, care about the kids a lot, care about the game, and we got a pretty solid staff.
Coach, what do you want the calling card to be for the Mooney Cardinals this year when it's all said and done?
Yeah, I want to be the longest team playing, and I want to be the team that plays the longest in the area, and that's our goal every year. I tell them, again, I can make the schedule easier, but I don't care about my wins and losses. I care about playing in June. That's the ultimate goal. Once you get that far, that's when the fun baseball starts. Anything can happen. So I just want to be known as a team that we compete, we play hard, we play every pitch, every inning, every out. And we're fun to watch, and these kids play hard, and that's kind of what I want to leave.
Anytime we interview someone from Mooney, I like to ask about being a part of the Mooney family and being a part of the Mooney tradition and the alumni that have come before you. What's it like to now, be a part of that, represent a baseball program, and to have that behind you?
Oh yeah, I'm a Mooney guy through and through. I got 2 football championship rings. I was on district basketball team and on the baseball program here. I even made it to regionals as a tennis player. It's Mooney's in my blood. The Mooney family is a real thing. The support here. We have a grandfather who's cooking us a team dinner after we have pictures right now. Then we're gonna go over to a grandpa's of a player's house, and we're getting ribs, chicken. It's just the support has been awesome, and it's like I said, the Mooney family, it is a real thing, and just want to represent all the Mooney alumni proudly.
That's all well and good that you get the championships, man, but you had me part of the Mooney family when you're talking about chicken and ribs. All right, so say no more. I'm in. Eddie, thank you so much for taking time out. Can't wait to follow you guys this year, and I'm sure this is the first of many Coaches Corners right here on YSN. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, thank you, and thanks again for the support and all the attention, and it's great for the area. So thank you.
You got it.
There he was, Eddie Reese of Cardinal Mooney, and man, I'm looking forward to watching some birds fly this year. I think Mooney going to be a dominant team. I think that Boardman is going to be a dominant team. I mean, and it makes me feel so old because those young men that we were watching 12U baseball, 11U state champion baseball, they're now at the varsity level, and they are everything that we thought they would be. So when you talk about these stellar baseball players and softball players in our area, we've been watching them for the last 6 or 7 years. And it's been fun and exciting, and it is their time to shine again right here on YSN. The question becomes, are we going to put out power rankings this year? And you're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
That is the question. First, the question is, why am I muted? The second is, are we going to do power rankings?
Two very powerful questions.
Welcome to live streaming.
Do we want to do power rankings? Is that something we want to look at?
The only reason we didn't, of course, in basketball is because they were already right there with Max Preps, and we would just be, kind of regurgitating the Max Preps rankings. But softball and volleyball, they're still coach voting for the tournaments. So there's really a reason to kind of. There's no rankings out there for people to look at. So it would be beneficial. We'd have to pick out the volleyball algorithm and kind of tweak it again for softball, but baseball.
Do we want to get beat up? I guess is the best question, because that's all power rankings are for us, is just invitations for ass whoopings.
We could say till we're blue in the face that it's not even our opinion, but it wouldn't matter.
No. And that's okay. And like, that's why you kind of get into it. You go, okay, is this something we want to do? Like, do we want to open up this can of worms or not? And you know what? I'm feeling froggy. Feeling a little froggy.
What would be really cool is like a coach's poll.
It would be great.
Can you imagine? YSN coaches poll? Power rankings?
Coaches love us, but I think that would be an invitation to hate us real quick.
Oh,
because giving them one more thing to do during their season, especially, I mean, I'll be the first to say, I didn't think we were playing at all this week. I thought there was no shot. And it looks like we're playing tonight again.
Tonight it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Once again, chilly. Tomorrow it might be a little bit too cold. That base temperature is the high is 39. So first pitch, maybe like 37. Wind chill might get it even lower. So we've already seen some teams, because they're free tonight, move their games back to tonight. Boardman, Louisville, a great example. They were supposed to play tomorrow. They both had an open day today. So they said, hey, why not just kind of move that game back and avoid that 39-degree weather? So Louisville is going to be playing at Boardman tonight instead of tomorrow.
Well, the good news is that Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be almost 70 degrees.
Yes.
So it's
coming. That precipitation will be fine on those days. That's the catch-22, because you want warmer weather, but every time it gets warmer, it also brings a higher chance for precipitation. Those high pressure systems. Wow. I hope that's correct, because I just kind of said something.
You definitely did.
I might get roasted by DePaulo. I took a weather class in high school, in college.
Hey, I'm proud of you for all your success taking that weather class and being able to drop some knowledge on us here.
My professor was Canadian, so I was just.
Oh gosh!
I was always, because she had that strong Canadian accent, so she always ended in like an upper inflation.
Eh?
Like she was asking the question all the time.
What's a cumulus cloud, eh?
What's that? Don't you know?
Don't you know, Bobby? Bobby's World? Are you too young for Bobby's World?
Yeah, I don't. That one, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you have to look up Bobby's World. That was Howie Mandel was voicing some of these characters back in the day. Back in the day on Fox. Eek the Cat. I'm trying to think of the other ones. There was Batman, the animated series. There's a lot of them.
I remember that one. Like I watched Batman, the animated series, but I don't know Bob's World. Is that what you said?
Bobby's World. Thank
Bobby's
you.
World.
Put some respect on his name.
I got that mixed up with Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
not Bob's.
They are not the same. Eek the Cat is a good one. You need to check out Eek the Cat.
Eek the Cat. See that when I hear that, I just think of Alf.
Because you you like purple cats. I just imagine like you're a cat guy.
Purple cat. I like Jimmy Sutman. Purple cat.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, but this cat is purple. His name's Eat the Cat. I don't remember the premise of the show. I just remember I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the other.
That and Bobby's World.
Bobby's World. Yeah, that was it. I mean, that was my childhood, getting off the bus and going right into my house, getting snack, watching some Fox, leaving my parents alone because they were working, out the door to my friend's house.
Yep.
Notice I didn't say homework. Do your homework, folks. It'll bite you.
It'll
get you. I think that's a show, man. I think that's a show.
Then we're good.
All right, you ready? Let's wrap this thing up with a bow tie. Brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric. We call it our Spark. And ladies and gentlemen, it is brought to you, like I said, by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. You can visit them on the web 24/7, 365. And all you got to do is go to dickeyelectric.com. It's that simple. Antonio, go ahead.
I'm going to use my spark today to give a shout out to our good friend and one of the announcers on YSN, Dom Pearson. He came out, did his first ever baseball/softball game with me last night. And a lot of people, if they're uncomfortable about something, like they don't know a lot about the sport or something, they'll shy away from it. They'll say, I don't really want, but Dom jumped right in. He was on the mic with me. He kind of picked up what to talk about with like one inning into the game. So it was real fun to watch him kind of start to pick up the sport. And I'll tell you what, when he starts to do games by himself, he's going to be a great announcer for baseball and softball. So our area athletes on the diamond are going to be in for a treat with Dom Pearson on the call. Already
a shining star in the YSN universe here. So congratulations, Dom. Thank you for all that you do and all that you're about to do, because it's a little thick here in spring, buddy. So get ready. My spark is a pleasant one, a very pleasant one. My son brought home his report card yesterday, and every grade improved, all A's across the board. That's the best there is. Sports.
Your homework,
I'm happy.
kids.
I'm happy. Yeah, he's not real good at that part either. But he gets A's. And A's, that's what we shoot for, right? We shoot for the top grade, and I'm proud of them. And you want your kids to do better and be more well off than you were, and certainly I feel like we're accomplishing that. So happy to thank you to the teachers and specifically one Lisa Fullerton for changing his life and his outlook on school as a whole. He loves going to school now. And obviously he's excelling at it, and I'm so proud of him. So little shout out to my boy Z, who is coincidentally in school right now, probably at recess, because that's what he loves the most. But hey, he's getting those other grades too. So that's all I care about. That is going to be a show. Ant, do we have any preview of who's on tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we'll have Scotty back on. We missed Scotty last week. He's got some great topics ready to go, ready in the chamber for next week. So we can't wait to talk to him about that. And we'll also ask him what it was like on his perspective to be a judge in the dunk contest.
He was loving it. And we'll probably have an athlete or a coach or two to go along with it. So stay tuned to our social media. We'll announce that tomorrow morning right here on your sports network. But for Anthony, I'm DJ. This has been a product of YSN and YSN Live. We'll see you tomorrow, high noon, right here on your sports network. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.